Okay, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how a spiritual awakening in a dark night of the soul can leave you feeling in a very down place, and the reason why this sometimes will last a lot longer than perhaps it should last in some of us. And to get to the chase pretty quickly, that's because we hang on to this notion that there's something wrong with being down. There's something innately wrong with us as a human being if we feel down, or if we feel unconfident, or if our self-esteem is low, or our diet's changed, or we just don't feel great in this world. We don't feel like we're here. Maybe we'll feel like we're having a depersonalization, or we're having out-of-body experience, or we're just feeling anxious and very, very down about shit. It's what we tend to do as humans is we hold on to negativity a lot more than we will positive. And so let me try and give you a little example of this. But by the way, thank you for all the guys who have subscribed to this channel. I didn't actually think anyone would even see these first few videos while I'm trying to find my voice, but obviously something I'm saying is resonating with a lot of you. So thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate it. But what we tend to do is we'll hold on to those negative thoughts. And what I mean by that is, if you can even just think to yourself, well, when you're feeling down about something, when a negative thought pops into your head, you can often think, why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling down again? Oh, this is so bad. I'm always down. Why does it always happen to me? We tend to regurgitate this thought over and over and over in our heads. Yet when we're up, when we're having days where we feel up and we feel good, we tend to say stuff like, well, this is a good day, better enjoy it while it lasts. Almost insinuating that you're going to come crashing back down again. This is a craziness, and it stems from, it stems from this whole belief that we need to be feeling good all the time. We don't. We're people, we're humans. We're just something that come out of the Big Bang. There's no hard and fast rules to us and how we should be and how our bodies regulate. Our bodies know how it regulates, but we don't. I mean, do any of you know actually why your heart is beating? Like, we might know the science behind that, but do you actually know why it's beating? Are you making it do that? Are you making your liver function? Are you making your hands move? How does that happen? How do we know to make them move? We just know that we can make them move. We don't know how we do it. We just know that we can. And the same goes for our minds. There's a lot of stuff that will go on in our minds, that thoughts will pop up into our heads, and we'll attach to those thoughts, wondering why we thought that. We must be an awful human being to think such a thing. So, for example, if I see an old man walking down the road and a thought pops into my head of, oh, wouldn't it be funny if he tripped over and broke his leg? Does that mean I actually want that to happen to that old man? No, of course it doesn't. What it means is it's just an involuntary thought that come into my head. It doesn't actually define who I am as a human being in the slightest. And should that guy actually fall over and break his leg, I would rush towards him to help him and do whatever I could to get him out of pain and to be there for him. And so you have to ask yourself those questions when you get those funny thoughts that come up into your head. Why am I always down? Why am I always feeling like shit? Why can't I just get myself together? Why can't I get life together? Sorry for the camera shaking it. Why can't I get life together? Why can't I organise myself? Why haven't I got the courage to move forward and go for that job interview? Why haven't I got the courage to ask that girl out, or to ask that guy out? And who made the rules up on should a guy ask a girl out or a girl ask a guy out? All these silly things that go on in the undercurrent in our society, and that hold us down because we try and live up to all of those expectations that are set on us. It's impossible to live up to those expectations. You know why? Fundamentally, because those expectations are stupid. They're stupid. They're made up by people who are making stuff up to keep us all where we are, which is stuck. But when we have an up day, I have digressed there slightly, I know that, but we already know that in these early videos I'm kind of trying to learn how to be more succinct on a topic. So they are kind of practice videos, but at the same time, obviously you guys are getting some good stuff out of it, which I think is wonderful. But when we have up days and our thoughts are positive and they're happy, why do we not analyse that? Why do we not think, okay, why am I feeling good today? What did I do yesterday that's making me feel good today? What did I do 10 minutes ago that's made me feel good? Did you do something that made you feel good? Or did you just start feeling good and then you did something? There's a real fine line between that. And if you can see that and identify that, it really becomes like a weapon in your arsenal, because you can then see it at all times. So whenever you're feeling down and shitty, you can identify the part of you that, did you feel down and shitty and then now you're not doing anything constructive with yourself? Or was you feeling down and shitty because you didn't do anything constructive with yourself? Because we've all got different patterns of how we operate and how we function and how we do things. And none of it is right nor wrong. I'm not sure who wrote the rule book on how humans are, or how humans are to be. I'm not sure who wrote that book. I'd like to meet them, because I've got a few questions that I'd like to ask them. But I think sometimes we just need to relax about us, about who we are, and that when we're down, that's okay. We're just down. And like the same as when we're up and we're feeling good, we will come down. The same as when we're down, we will come back up, and then we'll go back down, and then we'll go back up. And it really is just like that. And if some of this sounds very woo-woo and spiritual and stuff like that, you know what? It's because it is. It's because we hide away and feel ashamed of this thing that people call and say woo-woo. Again, that's another stupid unconscious belief that runs through society. Anyone that sees life in a different manner that works for them and wants to share that with the world is suddenly woo-woo. I beg to differ with some of these beliefs that go on. That where did they come from? Where did they originate from? But does anyone ask these questions? I'm not so sure. Sometimes I think all of it is just the craziness that's going on. But I have digressed slightly off topic, but that's okay. Life digresses, so I digress in my videos. It's just very natural. But we will hold on to things that don't suit us much more than we hold on to things that do suit us. When something tends to suit us, we can often take that thing for granted, that because we love it or like it or admire it or inspire to be like it, that it's always just going to be there, that this is always going to be attached to it. And because we take it for granted, we can end up neglecting that thing and neglecting ourselves, and we forget to be grateful for that thing and nurture it. That could be anything from your job, relationship, your pet, your garden, your food, your diet, fitness, whatever. But when something's negative in our life, we'll pay that much more attention. We'll pay it much more attention, and we'll hold on to that for a long time, because we don't understand why something's gone negative for us, because we've been taught that anything negative, any kind of failure, any kind of feeling down, anything less than feeling great, or anything less than getting an A grade is not good. That's what we're taught. So when you're having a day where you're feeling negative and you're feeling shitty and your mind's running riot a little bit with thoughts in it, that's okay. That could just be your body telling you to, hey, just chill out for a day, please, because you've been under a lot of stress lately. I need you to just sit down on the sofa and just relax and have a cup of tea and do nothing. No scrolling, no reading, no nothing. Just sit, just stare at the ceiling and be bored. Be bored and do nothing. Let the body rest. Don't be so frightened of yourself. Don't be so frightened of your own thoughts. Go for a walk out in nature. I'll advocate that on pretty much all of my videos, guys. I'm a keen wild camper. I sleep out in the mountains a lot and spend a hell of a lot of time completely on my own. And that right there is one of the most wonderful things I think I've ever brought into my life, is that feeling of being able to just sit on your own for hours upon hours and days upon days with nothing. It's a wonderful feeling. And when you have that, when you acquire that, which is there for all of us, a lot of us just don't know how to get it because we're constantly searching for it in external things, in external materials. But it's actually there in all of us. And you know it's there within all of us because 4.8 million years it took us to evolve. It's only in the last, I can even remember when I was a child, we had black and white telly. So the last, let's say 100 years to be generous, it's only in the last 100 years that we've had all these material things come in. So that means that for 4.799 million years, whatever it was, we didn't have none of that stuff. And we were fine. You know why we were fine? Because we evolved into what we are now. We're still here. We survived all of that. But now we have a tendency to be down all the time. And we have a lot more suicides. We have a lot more depression. We have a lot more anxiety. We have a lot more of the behavioural disorders like ADHD or Asperger's, autism, stuff like that. There's a lot more of that running through society. And my personal belief, and a lot of this stuff, guys, is just my belief. And it's so, let me just change the subject here, by the way. It's okay for you to think for yourself. It's okay for you to have your own ideas. You don't always need someone's permission for you to be able to think for yourself and be able to share that with the world. So some of what I say in these videos are just my opinion, based on either my experiences or stuff that I've researched or stuff that I feel when I'm walking around in the mountains for days on end and I'm just contemplating life. Things come into me and I'm like, I wonder if my brother's autistic, my half brother's autistic. I think, I wonder if autism is around because of these things that happened years ago. And it's just suppressed emotions that go down into something. I wonder. It's not a definite, it's a maybe. It's worth asking the question because it gives people, or it gives all of us, that other aspect of, okay, yeah, let's think about that. Why are we so fast to disregard everything? Because we've read something in a book, we'll disregard someone else's opinion of something. Because maybe that other person doesn't have a set qualification in something, we'll disregard their opinion. That's a craziness, another craziness. And it stems from our education system, that we need a certain level. We need to be at someone else's certain level of approval before we do anything. Well, we don't. But a lot of this, like I say in these videos, is my opinion. And will my opinion change? It's possible. I doubt it very much on some of this stuff, especially since my spiritual awakening, because I just see life, in particular my life, very, very, very clearly. It was like when my whole identity fell away, there I was, and I could now see my whole life. I could put all the dots together as to what it was that I had been doing wrong all these years. I'm 48 years old, I'm 49 in August. I had my spiritual awakening at 45. And because of that spiritual awakening, I went, well, I've always gone deep. I've always gone deep on the psychology front. I've always suffered with anxiety. I will do a video to explaining more about myself, but I've always suffered with anxiety, and off the back of that, I've always studied the mindset, the human mind. It's something that fascinates me, consciousness and why we're here, our evolvement. It's always fascinated me anyway. And I was always the kid at school, hence why I got expelled, who always said, why are we doing this? So I've always been someone that asked questions. I've forgotten the point I was going to make off of all of that, but again, that's life. It's not perfect. These videos aren't perfect. But anyway, I hope that helps some of you who are feeling down. Maybe you're struggling in a dark night of the soul after your spiritual awakening, and you kind of thought that it was going to be this thing that you were going to suddenly be enlightened and really experience life in this new wonderful way. It doesn't work like that. You will eventually, as long as you allow yourself to just relax and know that you're fine. If you're feeling in that way, if you're feeling uncomfortable because you know something profound has happened to you. Let me just digress here just for a second. If you're feeling very desperate and you're feeling very down and you're getting inappropriate thoughts about yourself, guys, please just seek help. There's no shame and there's nothing wrong in asking for professional help. Speak to a psychiatrist, speak to a counsellor, speak to your friends. let your parents know, whoever it is, whatever. Let someone know you're not feeling so great. There's no shame in that. And part of me wanting to do these videos is because I want to create a community for people that don't feel like they can speak up about stuff. I was one of them for 45 years. I now will express everything, hence why I do these videos. So if you are feeling down, please just ask. But also, just bear in mind that if you're feeling down, maybe you just need to just relax, to just be you and stop trying to run away from that feeling. That feeling might be actually telling you where to go, what to do next. But we have this habit of running away from our anxiety. Sometimes we need to look at it, because it could literally just be a signpost saying, hey, stop going that way, go that way. But you've got to look at it. We've got to take the time out, which is why it's so good to walk in nature. Anyway, guys, that's the longest video yet. I hope that helps some of you. I hope some of you just find it interesting just listening to this guy just chatting away in his caravan on this beautiful sunny day, just on the outskirts of North London. Anyway, if you're still here at this point, my God, guys, you are awesome. Thank you. And I hope you have a great day. Take care.